Hi, my name is Dennis Seary. I am Executive Director and founder of the New York City Independent Film Festival, Independent in Spirit, International at Heart, and this is the New York City Independent Film Festival Meet the Filmmakers podcast. Join us while we meet this year's filmmakers. Thank you. Bye-bye. Yes, hi. In this episode, we're here with Rebecca. Welcome, Rebecca. Thank you for joining us. Please introduce yourself and tell us about you.
All right. Thank you for having me. First of all, I'm very happy to be here. And I am a writer, published and produced playwright, director, producer of theater, and this is my first film I've ever produced. I'm also a certified exercise physiologist, and I have a nonprofit here in LA. Actually, it could be all over the world, but I've just done programming in LA that whose mission is to elevate the lives of seniors. And during COVID, I had to kind of anyway, I'll talk about that later because it's about the film. But I'm also a mother and a grandmother, both of which I enjoy very much. And I've been in LA for the last 30 years. Before that, I was doing the same thing in Atlanta for 20 years. So
you've been a long time.
I've been in the industry for a really long time, and I'm proud to still be in it.
All right. So what made you want to be a filmmaker?
Well, I've been in theater forever, and I, have a huge history in theater. My co-writer and I and my ex-husband actually started a theater in Atlanta called the Southern Theater Conspiracy. So my roots are in theater, but somehow I've always liked film more. I've enjoyed it more. I relax more with it. So we decided, we've written several published plays, and everything we did at our theater, we wrote ourselves. We ended up doing one of our plays, Tent Meeting, at the Astor Place Theater. And we were on tour with that play for about a year, and it's published now by Drama Display Service. But we decided we wanted to try to write some film. So we wrote a pilot that we set it in Appalachia and Atlanta because we know it so well. We were both born in and raised. I wasn't born there, but he was born there. We were both raised in the Bible Belt in the South. So we love the characters. We love the richness we come from the richness of that storytelling tradition. Mm-hmm. So we wanted to kind of take it over into film. And I was studying with a auditioning coach at the time named Craig Wallace here in LA. And I said, I just don't know how to get this pilot out. And he said, well, why don't you start with a short film? Why don't you write a short film, get it out there, get some recognition, and open some doors for yourself? And so we did. We sat down immediately. We wrote Catching the Bus. And then I didn't have any money, so I thought, I woke up literally, we wrote the script, and then I woke up literally for 3 years, every single morning thinking, how will I make this film? How do I make this film? And so eventually, because I am so passionate about the subject matter and the message of the film, it got made. And we got the money. And so, yeah, that's what made me want to be a filmmaker, was probably mostly because I'm so passionate about subject matter. I don't know how other people feel that, I consider myself first and foremost an artist, but it's almost when you have something you feel like you're supposed to be saying, it's like an exorcism. You gotta get it out. You gotta get it out. When I was doing the pilot, I created this whole, like montage of pictures and things that covered a whole door, because I had to get it out. I can't keep it in. And the message of this film, I just had to get it out until finally we made it. And it was probably the most empowering experience of my life, really.
Okay, that's great. So in some ways you kind of answered it, but anyway, I'll ask again. So how long have you been doing this and how many films have you made?
This is the only film I have ever, I mean, I've worked as I came to LA, I worked as an actress as well. And I've worked in a lot of films and television, but it's the first one I've actually made. But to me, I mean, if I could be like James Cameron and work on Avatar for 4 years, I would be in heaven. That is my idea of a really good life, just to be absorbed in that other world, creating that fantastic story, so
Okay.
yeah.
So when you first told everybody you were going to transition from, well, I guess since you've always been in theater, it probably wasn't that big of a transition. But when you said to everybody, I'm going to be a filmmaker, what did your friends and family say? They say, go for it. They sit there and say, are you crazy? You can't. What was their reactions?
Well, they're pretty supportive. My friends, it's like I could only talk about it for so long because you see the glaze, they've heard about it so much for all those years. So you feel so vindicated when you finally make it because they've heard about it for so long. And my family was awesome. I mean, everybody gave me money, and my son, who runs a biotech here in LA, really made it happen. Once, yeah, but the opposite of that, in the 60s, when I was going to college and I wanted to major in theater, my mother wouldn't let me. I was not allowed to major in theater. And so I got a degree in special education, and I taught school for 2 years, and I was right back at it, anyway, so the times really changed, and now everybody in my family was just so supportive.
That's great.
And yeah.
All right. Do you have a group that you work with? Like, do you have your support group, your tribe, your village, if you will?
They do.
Where you live? That's good.
And they were all on the set. so I mean, it was amazing because I was a member of an Irish theater company here in LA for years called Theater Banshee, and we did, I don't know if you know about Irish playwrights, but they're awesome. You probably do. But like John B. Keane, and we also did a lot of Shakespeare. And so we had a fight choreographer, and our director, Sean Brandy, is a big H.P. Lovecraft fan, and he has a whole thing called the H.P. Lovecraft Society that he runs online. He does they get mentioned in Forbes for creating all these amazing props based on H.P. Lovecraft short stories. He actually had directed several H.P. Lovecraft features that he uses on his website. So he had experience in directing. Our fight choreographer that did all the fight choreography for all of our Shakespeare plays also works in film and has had access to a stunt team called Amped Up Stunts that works for Marvel that came on our set and built the rigging for the stunt when my character gets dragged by the bus. I mean, it was phenomenal. And this costume designer I go back with 30 years, she's the one I've been like telling forever about how I'm going to make this film, and her eyes glazed over, so I had all those people on set, and a lot of my friends volunteered to do craft services, relationships that go back 30 years. So I really created for myself a very soft place to fall.
That's great. Good work.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. So what made you decide to make this film?
Well, this film was short, so it was doable. We had enough budget to do it. But also when COVID hit, the nonprofit, which is called Wackler Wellness, it was doing exercise programming for seniors in low-income parts of Los Angeles. And when COVID hit, we had to stop doing in-person programming. And so I talked to somebody, that's familiar. I think I talked to a lawyer actually about us doing this film through the nonprofit and she looked at it and looked at our mission statement, felt it fit in perfectly. So we were able to produce the film through the nonprofit. And the great thing is the nonprofit owns the film. So, if anything that happens with the film would go directly back to the nonprofit. So we actually made it right on the tail end of COVID. That was a bit harrowing, having 30 people show up on set COVID free when you're shooting 2 days. Yeah. So that's why we made it, because we could do it through the nonprofit. It was short. We had the budget.
Okay, good. So what was the hardest part and what was the most fun part of this film?
Okay, the hardest part was the producing. It was a huge learning curve for me. I mean, but at the same time, it was the most empowering. I'm so really so proud of myself for taking it on and accomplishing it. But it was scary. I mean, I would wake up some morning just bolt upright, or you lose, it's like playing whack-a-mole, literally. You fix one thing, another thing pops up, and you lose people right before the shoot. And so that was definitely the hardest part, but the most empowering, and developed a lot of relationships doing that. I think the most fun part, other than just doing it, was so much fun, because after all that producing, we only had 2 days to shoot, and everything was lined up so that, and I had all those amazingly beautiful people on set. The shoot was smooth. Nothing happened, so I mean, we got everything, we shot every scene, and so, but I think the most fun part was the stunt, because I had to literally wear this huge harness and get hooked up to wires that the rigging came over the top of the bus and the wires would hang down. And I had to get hooked up to the wires, and my knees were on a platform. And in the film where you see my feet being dragged, that's actually a real stunt woman, because she's hanging on those wires with nothing under her, but so yeah, but that was really fun.
Okay. Now, okay, what kind of a filmmaker, now that you've made your first film, would you say you are? Are you the kind of filmmaker that you finish your film, you go, okay, that baby's out, the child is out into the world. If I made any mistakes, I'll just fix them next time. Or are you the kind of filmmaker that sits there and looks at it and goes, oh, I could have done that better. I should have done that better. Which way are you?
I'm the first.
You're the first, yeah?
Definitely the first. Well, because I'm an actress, I've been auditioning for close, over 40 years. So it's in the can, you let it go, so.
I hear you, yes. Okay. So inside the indie film world, we're not going to become rich. I mean, like, we're not going to buy mansions and private jets on movies we make. So what would you consider success in the indie film world?
Finding your audience. And it's just been incredible to have the film shown to an audience. It's just the best. And the most, because I've been on the film circuit now for almost a year. It'll be a year in July. And I have met the most amazing people all over the country. I mean, that has been awesome. And I'm basically living the message of my film. So, I have just met the best people. And then you meet, and the audience too, to just meet these people all over the country that are passionate about independent filmmaking and storytelling. That to me is the success of being on the festival circuit.
Okay, great. Great. So suppose somebody comes along and goes, hi, Aunt Rebecca, I want to be a filmmaker just like you. What would be your statement to that person?
Well, I would say go for it, first of all. And then I would say write to your passion. If you write to your passion, there's no way that it will not be made. You'll wake up every morning thinking, how will I make this film? And then I would say release judgment. Just release judgment as you're working on it. Don't just know it's going to be a big learning curve, and that you're going into it blind, and that whatever happens, you'll figure it out. That's what I would say.
Okay. That's the last of my questions. So now, just, do you have any final words or any statements you want to tell the world or anything?
Well, I just want to say that I'm grateful this film exists, and I'm grateful that it's existing in your festival, and that and I'm grateful to be here today. I really, really am.
Okay, great. So the film is going to show June 6th on Thursday at the New York City Independent Film Festival.